Have you ever wondered what lies at the end of the road? Not a road for cars, but a simple, gray sidewalk. In the small town of Greenfield, this wasn't just a curious thought. It was a local legend. Greenfield was a place of comforting predictability. The houses, lined up in neat rows, were near-perfect copies of each other, and the sidewalks were always pristine, freshly paved, and orderly. Everything had its place, except for one thing. The sidewalk on Pine Street. Pine Street's sidewalk was different. It snaked and coiled, stretching far beyond the town's familiar grid, disappearing over a distant hill, day after day. The people of Greenfield would walk its length. They'd stroll with their dogs, jog for their morning exercise, or simply wander, enjoying the air. But everyone, without exception, turned back before reaching its conclusion. Why? Well, nobody knew where it ended. It was the town's greatest mystery, a puzzle hiding in plain sight. Theories were as common as the neatly trimmed lawns. Old Man Hemlock, who'd lived on Pine Street his entire life, swore the sidewalk stretched on forever, a gray ribbon tying the world together. The town's teenagers, always looking for a thrill, whispered stories of it leading to a magical, hidden world, a place untouched by Greenfield's rigid order. Others, more practical, figured it just stopped abruptly in the middle of a forgotten field, an unfinished project from a bygone era. The uncertainty was a quiet hum beneath the town's peaceful surface. One crisp autumn morning, a young boy named Leo decided he'd had enough of the wondering. Leo was a curious soul, his pockets always filled with interesting rocks, lost buttons, and unanswered questions. The biggest question of all was about that sidewalk. While his friends were content with the stories, Leo needed to see for himself. He packed a small bag with an apple, a bottle of water, and his favorite compass just in case. He told his mom he was going for a walk, which was true, but he left out the part about his destination. Leo started down Pine Street, his sneakers making a soft, rhythmic sound on the concrete. He passed the last familiar house, the one with the bright red door, and kept going. The sidewalk began to narrow, and the perfectly manicured lawns gave way to overgrown fields filled with wildflowers and buzzing insects. The air smelled different here, wilder, scented with damp earth and pollen. Leo felt a thrill of adventure, a feeling he rarely got within the neat confines of Greenfield. He was stepping off the map, walking into the unknown. The sun climbed higher, and the town disappeared behind him. The sidewalk was now cracked and weathered, with stubborn weeds pushing through the gaps. It led him into a dense, whispering forest he'd never seen before. Sunlight dappled through the canopy, painting shifting patterns on the path. He wasn't scared. He was fascinated. He imagined he was the first person to ever walk this far, a true explorer. After what felt like hours, the forest began to thin, and Leo saw something up ahead. The sidewalk, his long gray guide, finally came to an end. And where did it end? Not in a magical kingdom or in the middle of nowhere. It ended at the edge of a magnificent, sparkling lake, so vast its other shore was just a faint line on the horizon. A small, weathered wooden dock stretched out over the water, and tied to it was a single, empty rowboat. The sidewalk had led him to this breathtaking, hidden sanctuary. It wasn't about the destination being magical, but the journey revealing a beauty that Greenfield had forgotten existed. Leo sat on the dock, ate his apple, and realized the sidewalk didn't just end. It began something new. It was a path from the known to the undiscovered, a reminder that the greatest adventures often start right at our own feet. Thanks for joining me on this little journey today. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more Tales of Wonder. See you next time.